Lance Hurd is going to the transfer portal, what this means for Tennessee on the offensive line, and David Sanders.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what's good, everybody? A happy Thursday evening, I guess. Thursday night, Thursday evening, as I'm coming at you with a little extra Locked On Vols coverage here. Portal season, this is a perfect example, right? I've had my Friday show canned, signed, delivered, ready to go. Everything's good on that front. And then I even say in that show, like, hey, there might be some things that are outdated by the time this airs because that's how fast things move and evolve during transfer portal season. And here we are. Too much had happened on Thursday evening. I thought I'd better get this out there. So on tomorrow's show, Friday's show, there will be a few things that haven't happened yet, but you know, that's why I'm recording this show there. So a little confusion, but that is life in the portal season. I'm Cain, your host here at Locked On Vols. Hope you guys are enjoying your New Year's holiday, but it's fast and moving, guys. It's fast and furious. We knew it would be. As soon as the Music City Bowl was kind of signed, sealed, delivered, things were going to move quickly because the transfer portal officially opens 2 days after that. And, of course, that opens tomorrow, January the 2nd on Friday. And knew that there were going to be some portal departures, knew that Tennessee was going to start being active in the transfer portal. Hopefully some more steam on that this weekend. But also with the coaching news, the assistant coaching news, expecting a lot of that to be announced tomorrow, or at least news to hit the airwaves tomorrow on that. But Josh Heupel did part ways with a strength coach, so we'll get into that here later on in the show. It's going to be a shorter little bonus show here on Locked On Vols, but wanted to kind of go over Lance Hurd announcing his intentions of entering the transfer portal. This is what he put out there on his social media Thursday evening. He said, Vol Nation, I want to take a moment to thank everybody who has played a part in my time at Tennessee. Wearing the Vol orange and white has been an incredible experience, and I'm truly grateful for all the lessons, memories, and growth along the way. To the coaches and staff, my teammates, and all the fans who have shown love and support, thank you. Your encouragement has never gone unnoticed. After a lot of thought and prayer, I've decided to enter my name in the transfer portal with eligibility remaining to explore new opportunities and continue to develop as a player and as a person. Tennessee will always hold a special place in my journey, and I'm thankful for everything this program has given me. Thank you, Vol Nation. Lance Hurd. Lance Hurd, of course, end quote. So that was his announcement on social media Thursday evening, and I know a lot of fans don't like reading those things because they're annoying. I mean, if you got a player that's declaring for the NFL draft, okay. Or a lot of times now seniors, guys who are out of eligibility will make those type of announcements saying, again, I saw one yesterday from Don Bailey. It's like, after careful thought and consideration, I'm making my plans to declare for the NFL draft. Well, duh, what else are you going to do? But when you get a guy, Dom's a great guy. I'm just poking fun at him. But when you get guys like Lance Hurd to do this, who are leaving your program to go and play at college football somewhere else, it can kind of get annoying a little bit. But, I mean, Lance Hurd spent 2 years here, was a part of a college football playoff team, was a part of some big wins here on Rocky Top. And this is a loss, but not one that is overly shocking. And let me show my work on this. Lance Hurd was one of the highest paid players on Tennessee's roster, okay? Lance Hurd is a guy that was entertaining NFL draft conversations, and he still is, right? I mean, I know he didn't mention it there, but I think that, you know, getting feedback, I know he's probably already gotten some feedback as well. I mean, he's a guy that was talking about declaring for the NFL draft right now, this offseason, and maybe that still happens. But also, he's a guy that was playing opposite of David Sanders. David Sanders, we know that he's well compensated to come here to the University of Tennessee. We know, just as the norm is everything, if you have a hotshot freshman tackle, you're playing right, you're going to flip to left. You're brought here, you're being paid to play left tackle. And it's unfortunate because you love a world where these two things can coexist. These two players could continue to stay here. I personally think the whole left tackle, right tackle thing is the most overrated thing in sports. You are brought up to learn. It's instilled in your mind, and it's only further along with that with your personal trainers and your agents and your family members if you're a tackle at the collegiate level. You want to play left tackle because left tackles get paid. Well, in Tennessee circles, it's as simple as this. Darnell Wright went 10th overall, okay, to the Chicago Bears. He's one of the best offensive tackles in the National Football League, and he's playing right tackle. Now, he did show that he could play left tackle. He did that back in, I guess it was 2021. But I think it's overplayed. I do. But when you got people from all different angles saying, hey, you got to play left. Hey, you got to play left. Hey, you got to play. You're not going to get paid if you played right. NFL teams aren't going to take you seriously if you're not playing left tackle. Got to play left. Got to play left. I mean, it weighs on you a little bit. And I'm not going to pretend to sit here and like I know his situation, like I'm in those rooms and I'm part of those conversations. But you know he was getting that. His agent is pushing that. His family members are pushing that. His friends are pushing that. So I think that was a part of it. Also, you can't afford to have two of your highest paid players on your football team being tackles. You need to put money in that position. I'm not saying you can't, but you can't have two of your tackles being the highest paid players on your team or some of the highest paid players on your team. It's just bad business. Fact of the matter is, it's just bad business. And, you know, the talk and the conversation is, I mean, you got Lance hurt. He's probably looking for a raise. And I don't know if it was one of those where, like, he demanded this money and Tennessee said no, or I don't know how all that went. But, you know, Lance Hurd, especially after the year that he just had, is going to ask for a big-time raise. He is already being paid so much money. Based off his performance in 2024, he was overpaid. Now, he was going through growing pains. First-year starter in the Southeastern Conference, a new offense. He was hurt very much early in the season, caused him to miss a lot of time, caused him to be out of playing shape. And so that weighed on him a little bit. That was a struggle for him. But, you know, if you're already very, very, very well compensated and you're expecting another bump in pay, sometimes it's just not realistic. And so I think that's a little bit what's going on here. You got Pete Nakos that, you know, tweeted out about Lance Hurd. Quote, Lance Hurd becomes the most proven offensive line to hit the portal market, will command in the $1 to $3 million range, end quote. And again, I hope Lance Hurd gets all that money, man. He's earned it. He played a fantastic left tackle for Tennessee this year. Fantastic. I mean, I wrote the story that he was in the transfer portal like 3 weeks ago. I mean, again, this is not shocking. This is not blindsiding Tennessee. This shouldn't be blindsiding any Tennessee fans to follow things closely. You knew that this was going to be a possibility. And unfortunately, that's just the nature of the business that we're in. That's just kind of where college athletics is. He's coming off his best collegiate season where he totaled 832 snaps at left tackle. He produced a Pro Football Focus grade of 67.4. His first year in 2024, after transferring over from LSU, he logged 753 snaps and a Pro Football Focus grade of 44.9. So he went from 2024 Pro Football Focus grade of 44.9 to this past year's Pro Football Focus grade to 67.4. Incredible jump. He was the second best pass blocker pro PFF in Tennessee's roster, 76.6, trailing only Jesse Perry. Hurd allowed 1 sack and 453 pass blocking, 2 sacks if you count the Music City Bowl, and 453 pass blocking reps. He allowed 17 pressures. He allowed 3 sacks, 3 quarterback hits, 21 pressures in 2024 while working through several injuries during the first half of the season. He was a third-team All-SEC selection by the league's coaches this past year. He was SEC Offensive Lineman of the Week after Tennessee drilled Kentucky 56-34, and Tennessee totaled over 500 yards of total offense. So, 6'6", about 330 pounds. He had a great year. Still, he's not on Mel Kiper Jr.'s big board for top 10 offensive tackles. And so I think that kind of hurts him in terms of his draft stock. But he was a force at left tackle. He was an anchor left tackle for the highest scoring offense in the SEC and the second best offense in terms of yards in the SEC this year, which was the University of Tennessee. So, again, don't want to say this is nothing. He's been your starting left tackle for the last 2 years. But this has been this has been a possibility for a while. This is not shocking. This is not a blindside block or anything, okay? This was always a possibility. And to make things work, and just fact of the matter, business is business, there was always a possibility that Lance Hurd was going to be going elsewhere. And that's kind of where you are right now. So we'll come back. What's this mean for Jesse Perry? What's this mean for David Sanders? What's this mean for Bennett Warren, who went into the transfer portal a couple of hours before Lance Hurd made his announcement? All that and more is coming up next as we continue on here. A little bonus episode. This is your Thursday night Locked On Vols. Stay tuned. Fridays already have a different type of feel during basketball season. The FanDuel is making them even better every Friday night. Before the game tips off, FanDuel gives fans a new way to kick off the weekend with NBA Happy Hour. NBA Happy Hour is your official pregame, a limited time window where special offers drop right inside the FanDuel app before the action starts. Fridays from 6 to 7:30 Eastern. Eastern Time have become appointment viewing for NBA Happy Hour. Opening the FanDuel app during Happy Hour always brings something new, boosts, bonuses, and surprises. Easy way to check in on weekly specials before the tip-off and make the move before the window closes. The timing is perfect as well, right before tip-off for these games. Adds a little extra energy to Friday nights without overthinking it. So before tip-off, check out the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. A little basketball, a little action, a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour, only on FanDuel, the official sports partner of the NBA. There's nothing like college football season, the tailgates, the packed stadiums, and being right there in the middle of it all. The energy, the bands, the moments you remember forever. Man, I was watching the Rose Bowl earlier today, and just the pageantry. Rose Bowl screens pageantry, right? But getting tickets to these college football playoff games, the Rose Bowl, just a regular season game, frustrating. Long queues, logins, prices jumping at checkout. Not with Game Time. Gives the advantage back to the fans, the easiest way to unlock amazing college football tickets and experiences in just a few taps. I opened the Game Time app several times throughout this football season, saw Tennessee tickets as low as $25. I got to see the view from my seats, so I knew exactly what I was paying for. Zone deals as well stood out. You pick the section, Game Time picks the seats, and you save even more money. Knowing the price includes fees up front makes the process stress-free. Take the guesswork out of buying college football and basketball tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, put in the redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That is LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Welcome you guys back into a little bonus content here on a Thursday evening. Lance Hurd has officially announced his intentions of entering the transfer portal. And again, it's a situation where he wants a raise, and I don't think that he was too inclined to play right tackle. And again, going back to what I said in segment number 1, I think left tackle, right tackle battle is the stupidest thing in all of sports. Again, what more proof do you need? Here at the University of Tennessee 3 years ago, you had a right tackle who was drafted 10th overall, and he's one of the better offensive tackles in the National Football League right now, and he's a millionaire. So what more do you need? But anyway, I digress. Lance Hurd doesn't want to play right tackle, and expecting the big time pay bump, and sometimes you got to make tough business decisions, and I don't think Tennessee was comfortable with essentially accommodating what those were, and so we'll see what's in store for Lance Hurd. Again, as I mentioned, a guy that was exploring NFL draft waters as well. Lance Hurd is entering the transfer portal. So what does that mean for the University of Tennessee? Well, you're going to have David Sanders, which was the plan all along. He is shifting from right tackle to left tackle, okay? And so what was interesting was you were presented with a couple of options in this scenario. Jesse Perry, of course, can bump out, play right tackle for you next year. He was always going to be your starting right guard. David Sanders got hurt the week of the Syracuse game, the season opener, was ruled out the morning of the season opener. That meant Tennessee had to shuffle the deck a little bit, bumping out Jesse Perry from right guard to right tackle to take the place of David Sanders, flipping Wendell Moy from left guard to right guard, and then bringing in Sham Umarov to play left guard. So Tennessee did that, and Tennessee rolled with that the first 4 games of the year. Tennessee started with that lineup at Mississippi State, which was the 5th game of the year, and then David Sanders got introduced, and then David Sanders started the last 6 games of the season, played in 8 games and all that, and Perry bumped down to guard. I think Jesse Perry looked better at right tackle than he did at right guard. That's just my opinion. I think he did. I think Tennessee's best version of the offensive line was with Jesse Perry at guard, but I think Jesse Perry himself was better at right tackle. I do. So that's option A for me, okay, is Jesse Perry bumping out and he's your right tackle. Option B for me was Bennett Warren. Bennett Warren was a highly rated 4-star prospect. He was a part of the 2024 signing class, didn't get here till summer, not this past summer, but the summer before that. And so he was never a part of things as a true freshman, ended up redshirting, was primarily a part of field goal teams, special teams, and all that this year. But he was a guy that when Lance Hurd went out with I think it was a bit of a knee injury there for a series against Alabama. He went in, played 6 snaps at left tackle, and that's how Tennessee rolled with things. That was Bennett Warren. He played in 76 offensive snaps this year, but he was a reserve offensive lineman. Clearly, Jesse Perry was your long-term backup tackle if needed. I mean, that was proven. But the thought was Bennett Warren could continue to develop, and he could be your right tackle this year. Well, couple hours before Lance Hurd officially entered the transfer portal, Bennett Warren announced he was going to enter the transfer portal. So I don't know if those things are related. I don't have context on that just right now. I mean, it's not shocking that Bennett Warren entered the transfer portal. He's been a reserve for 2 years, but again, that's not one of the shells that we have pre-written. You know what I'm saying? If you're in this industry over at VolQuest.com, we have about, several transfer portal shelves that we have, so we're ready. So when Lance Hurd announces he's in the portal, we're ready. We hit publish. Like, that's how you do the business. But Bennett Warren wasn't one of the ones that we had written because, again, the expectation was he was going to take a step up this year potentially. So I don't know. I don't know if Bennett Warren knew that Lance Hurd was going to enter the portal. I don't know if those things are related. I don't know if Tennessee's open to welcoming Bennett Warren back. I would be if I'm Tennessee. So we'll see exactly what happens as the days kind of continue here. Kind of like Tennessee basketball. It was Tobe Awaka entered the transfer portal, and then Jonas Adu entered the transfer portal, and I don't think those were related. Tennessee was open to Tobe Awaka coming back, and ultimately he was getting, he was getting courted, and he was getting recruited in the transfer portal, and he didn't end up coming back. So again, we'll see what happens. I mean, Bennett Warren's not proven anything here at Tennessee, so it's not like that's a massive loss, but it does take a hit to your tackle depth. And a guy that could have been a starter next year if Hurd wasn't here, and at the very minimum, he could have been your swing guy. So option 3 now, for me, or option C, I guess, would be Tennessee goes and finds a swing man in the transfer portal, a guy that has the ability to play both guard and tackle, a Jesse Perry, a Dane Davis type guy, a swing guy. Tennessee always has a swing guy. Currently, Tennessee does not have a swing guy on the offensive line right now. And that's where I say on Friday's show that you'll hear tomorrow, when I get to the offensive line, and I recorded that before Lance Hurd, and I recorded that before Bennett Warren, I talk about Tennessee maybe wanting to look at the attractiveness of a swing man. I still think that's true. So you'll hear that on tomorrow's show. Clearly, I recorded that before all this happened. That's why I'm doing this right now. But I still think Tennessee could be looking for a swing man in the transfer portal. Or here's a thought. Gabe Asenda's a mountain of a man. Get him ready, and he can be your primary backup tackle. From Baylor School in Chattanooga. He is a big boy, very athletic. Get him ready to go. Jeremiah Hurd is a mountain of a man. He's been on campus for 2 years. Get him ready to be able to go in there and play a little bit. Maybe he could be your backup tackle. I don't know. We'll see what happens, and we'll see how Bennett Warren, this affects that and all that. But, I mean, that's portal season, baby. Lance Hurd to the transfer portal, not shocking, wanting to stay at left and wanting a pay bump. Already very well compensated, and David Sanders your left tackle. End of the day, that's about all there is to say about that. I mean, that's where Tennessee stands. So we will see what Tennessee does in the transfer portal. Again, tomorrow's show, I will go over transfer portal needs, where Tennessee needs to go, safety, quarterback, running back, defensive line. I speak about getting a swing man. Maybe the offensive line is kind of bumped up the priority list a little bit here. But again, that's portal season, baby. One more thing before we say goodbye. Josh Heupel also, as Brent Hubbs broke the news, around 2 o'clock on Thursday afternoon, Josh Heupel is not renewing strength coach Kurt Schmidt's contract. It's set to expire at the end of January, and he is not renewing his contract, which means Tennessee is in the market for a new strength coach, director of sports performance, or whatever you want to call it. And this is a monumental move, okay? Because for so long we've said that Josh Heupel won't make the hard decisions. Josh Heupel won't be the big boy in the room and make the tough calls, right? Well, he got rid of Tim Banks, and he's getting rid of Kurt Schmidt, or not extending him, when Kurt Schmidt has gone back to his days in Missouri. That's where they kind of had their relationship start. And then he goes to UCF. UCF. I said USF. UCF. And Schmidt was his strength coach at UCF. And then they got to Knoxville, and Schmidt followed him. And so he's been the strength coach for Josh Heupel since Heupel's been the head coach for 8 seasons, 5 at Tennessee and 3 seasons at UCF in Orlando. So that's a big move. It's a big move. And that's the second big change of the offseason so far. So I think Josh Heupel senses, hey, 2026 is a big year for this program. It's a big year for me. And we'll do a show about this later next week. But, you have another 8-4 season. Things are going to get loud here. I'm not saying he's going to be fired right then, but things are going to get louder here. So I think it's a pivotal year for him, and I think it's a pivotal year for this program, and he's making some changes that need to be made. Tim Banks, now Kurt Schmidt. So very newsworthy Thursday afternoon. Needed to get this updated because, again, Friday show that's already canned, signed, sealed, delivered. It'll be out at midnight, as it always is. That is going to have a segment talking about portal needs, and I mentioned the offensive line, and I don't talk about Lance Hurd or Bennett Warren because that hadn't happened at the time of that recording. So I wanted to get this out here. Fast, furious, things change by the minute. That is transfer portal season officially opens tomorrow. We'll see what Tennessee does in terms of trying to get guys on campus this weekend. We'll see if there's any more defectors for Tennessee, all that and more. We'll recover it. We'll cover it. We'll talk about it, and we'll be here every step of the way right here on Locked On Vols. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Tune in tomorrow, Locked On Vols, as normal. Gonna talk about some portal needs, some portal departures, and some New Year's resolutions. All that and more coming up on a Friday, Locked On Vols. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening, everybody.